listen up. This is the Music Scene Podcast. I am your host, Dave Cudrak. This past Monday, I've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks. I did my first speaking engagement over at the Fire in Philadelphia on Girard Avenue. Every month they have something called the Monday Night Music Meetup, brought to you by Music is Our Hero. Shout out to Drea Young. She's a great host, really has her shit together. The whole night went smoothly. And it was really a fantastic time. So I highly recommend you guys going out to the Fire on Girard Avenue in Philly. It's the first Monday of the month, and it's a good time. You can sign up and get on the list ahead of time by going to musicisourhero.com. And yeah, definitely check it out. I was there as a speaker last night, went up there, got up on stage, talked a little bit about my own journey and how I got to where I am right now, talked about creating the podcast. I talked about gigging on a regular basis. I do gig quite a bit. Gave some advice on how to get gigs and how much you should probably charge for gigs and things like that. So yeah, I met some great people. I think the night went really well. And I think we're probably going to see some people from the Philly area now popping up on this podcast, which is great. I think we should all go outside of our general circle and just meet new people and expand our network, right? Even if they're not into the same kind of vibe that you're doing, meet someone who's doing something completely different and pick their brain and maybe get some inspiration or some influence from them. Your network should consist of various types of artists, not all the same genre, right? I hope that makes sense. At least that's how I feel. If you guys feel differently, hit me up on social media and tell me I'm wrong. I'm always open to conversation and comments and things like that. So none of this happens without you guys listening. So feel free to let me know your thoughts. I appreciate it. Today on the podcast, we have Jimi Uo. I was really glad to have Jimi on the podcast because although I've seen him around the music scene at various open mics and he comes to my open mic occasionally and all that, I didn't really know much about him. And in this conversation, we learn a lot. We really get to dig into Jimi's past and how he was brought up and the environment that he was in and how it all started and how it all influenced where he's at now. And it's a super, super interesting story. About halfway through, we talk about a particular life event that he is currently going through, or at least started to go through a few weeks or a month or so ago. So the conversation takes a pretty sharp left turn, but it is super, super interesting. And I think you guys are going to enjoy learning more about Jimi and all the layers that he consists of. Learning this stuff about him really kind of helped me understand where he's coming from. Here is my conversation with Jimi Uo. All right, so I have a super quick question for you.
Sure.
I don't really even know what your name is. Obviously, it's Jimi, but like, I think I've seen you on Facebook as Jimi Uo.
Yep.
Right. So what's your actual last name?
It's it's James Marrero.
James Marrero.
So my full name is James Uriel Marrero.
Okay.
And what I did was, obviously it was named after Jimi. So Jimi, there's so many Jimis out there. So I took the first letter of my middle name, which is Uriel, U.
Okay.
And the last letter of my last name, which is O.
Oh, okay.
And I just took the U and the O. Yeah. And I figured, really, it's marketing too. I wanted something succinct, something easy.
Sure.
Very direct,
Yep.
And, everyone owes someone. You might as well.
Right.
So I could be the Jimi Uo.
That's right. That's great. I love it. What name do you perform under?
I guess it would be Jimi Uo. Yeah,
Jimi UO.
which
Okay.
it's going to be UO Sound, UO Entertainment.
Okay.
Is coming.
Nice.
So that'll be the EIN number.
So what's that? Explain that to me then.
So as you know, when you do certain gigs, you got they write the checks out. Who they make the check it out to.
Yeah, sure.
So this way, with UO Sound, that's just going to be the basically hub for everything that I do, whether it's whether I'm running sound, doing acoustic gigs, doing regular gigs, whatever it is. When they say who do I write the check to, hopefully from there, money comes in. Same thing. I'm sure you follow your stuff, and the idea would be to basically try and get in the entertainment business a little bit more than what I've been doing already.
Nice. So you're going to set up like an LLC or something like that?
Okay. So that's
cool.
That's
very cool. Yeah. Very cool. How long have you been like running sound? I think that's a relatively new thing for you, isn't it? Or
I got lucky. I had the equipment for about 2 or 3 years. So I had it from my I got it from my past life. But a buddy of mine from college who's been at it since college. It's funny. It's the same exact band. You got so many people that have move in and out, and myself included, move in and out of bands. But he's been in the same one since college.
Okay.
And he was like, I need a sound guy like tomorrow. And so I reached out to him. I was like, "Yo, this is who I am." He goes, "Oh, I used to roommate with that guy." I was like, "Dude, it's me. I am him." I got hooked up with him.
What band was it?
Eboro Bandits.
Oh yeah, is that Johnny Comfort?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So I roomed with him. It was my roommate.
Oh, that's so funny.
So we
That's
wrestled
awesome.
together.
That's
so we got all kinds of like craziness together.
Yeah. I know Johnny. I went to one of his open mics up near Asbury Park, was like Salty's Beach Bar or something like that. He used to host an open mic. I forget what day it was. Nothing against him. He runs a great open mic. However, it was my first time there. I was still relatively new at gigging. I didn't start like, with paid gigs or anything. I was still just doing open mics. And I went there, and it's great stage, great lighting, great sound, all that stuff. But they had their feature act, this guy named Ty Mars, who is amazing, right? And it was like the Ty Mars trio, like was the feature act, and they started the night, and then I went on right after him.
Gotcha. Okay,
and so I've got this right in front of me is this amazing guitar player, singer, and a whole trio, and they're jamming, and everybody's going nuts. The guy does a spot on like John Mayer cover, like a guitar solo, everything, and then here I go, like just starting out, voice is all cracky, solo acoustic guy, practically shitting his pants on stage, and like you could feel the energy just leave the room, and I was like, oh god.
It's like a green room. That's why I think a green room is so important sometimes, because it separates yourself, from what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, it was brutal to try to follow him. I mean, all due respect to Ty Mars, he's amazing, but I don't ever want to follow him again.
Yeah, I get it.
So I don't really know. So I'm glad you're on the podcast so I can learn a little bit more about you personally and stuff. I know you're in a number of bands, I think, right? So who are you playing with now?
So it's funny. I mentioned about being in your first band. So I'm in a band called Have Mercy, which was my first cover band. It was the first band that ever got me into playing covers in the first place. I started off playing guitar, and I was one of those people said, "Hey, I'm never going to be in a cover band. I'm never going to play cover." That was the way I started off. I got to be honest. I was through college, and then right at the end of college, I kind of took the bow. And so with Have Mercy, their take was they're a bunch of like punk rock guys, right? Okay. So we play all classic rock songs, standard stuff that you would know, American Girl, sure. Jack and Diane, but we just play them cooler.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like Me First into Gimme Gimme. So we went at it for maybe 8 or 9 years. Kind of didn't break up or anything. Just went our own way.
Sure.
And then just last year, the drummer's wife needed to party or something, so we got back.
Okay.
And then next thing you know, we put a couple gigs on, and next month we're actually playing at the Prudential Center at a Devils game.
No shit, really? So that's awesome.
So I guess we can now say it's about 14 years.
Yeah, man.
About 4 or 5 years off or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is Have Mercy. I guess is my longest ongoing band.
Okay. So hold on. What's this Prudential gig for the Devils? How did that come about? What is it?
So one of the guys I work with, or I guess both of the guys, they work for the Prudential Center. So I'm not exactly sure what they do there. It was, I don't know. I think they have people that work for them type of thing.
Sure.
So, but that's how we got somehow. And I think the Nerds or the Geeks, or no, the Benjamins.
The Benjamins. Okay.
So this is like the first time we're up on the stage next to something like that.
That's awesome. So that's super cool. When is that? What date? Do you remember?
It's last weekend of February, whatever that Saturday is.
February 22nd.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So Saturday, February 22nd, you're playing the Prudential Center at a Devils game.
Yes, sir.
That's cool.
Yes,
that's
sir.
very cool.
Yeah,
okay, so that's Have Mercy. What do you do in that band? Are you just guitar?
Just guitar. They don't even give me a microphone. Don't even give me a microphone. Don't even give me a microphone. Yeah.
All right. So guitar there, and then are you in any other projects now? I mean, I've seen social media posts with you
So
all over the place.
Right. So the Masters of the Tuniverse was supposed to be an open mic idea, right? So a trio to host a full backline open mic, and then because I don't actually have a band of my own in close enough here because the guys are up north and they don't want to play as much as I do.
Sure.
I was hoping to use them as a backline and then swap in different female fronts for when opportunities come up, because I know, people ask me probably once or twice a month, hey, I need a slot to spill, to fill. Yep. Do you have a band? So that was that idea. It kind of got squashed with some other things. One of the girls dropped out. Someone stepped in. So, that's still just an open mic thing.
Okay. So that's Masters of the Tuniverse.
Masters of the Tuniverse.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It was just basically an open mic thing.
Okay. Cool.
And then, of course, I do a bunch of duo stuff with a bunch of girls. Here and there.
Who do you play with?
So I actually just started one with Heather, who's my wife.
Okay.
Not really sure yet what we're calling it. I think it's just going to be the MV duo, but
okay, nice.
Which is just we're going to make a sigil. It's like a last name type of thing. But we actually just did some video yesterday.
Very cool.
Which was pretty cool.
Where at?
We were over at Stratosphere.
Oh, nice.
With Edgar and those guys.
Very cool.
So it came out pretty good.
Any other projects that you're working on?
Mercy's Revenge, which would be my original project, which is probably going to be coming back sometime soon.
Okay.
Took a little bit of hiatus, working on some things, but I'm hoping to bring that back out.
What's that going to look like? Is that a full band?
It's 3-piece. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
It's a 3-piece. It's me fronting it. All the originals. You'll hear some of those songs tonight.
Okay, cool.
But I'm still always looking for the right thing. It's for me. I guess if I was going to be straight honest, and anyone listening out there, I'm kind of a snob, in that I've done it long enough. And I've been around long enough. It's like it's like making commitments to relationships and stuff like that. It's a lot of people say, "Hey, I want to do this," and I do. I just don't like talking about it.
Right.
So it's I'm a little guarded, I suppose, with that. So it's easy for me to help out and to join or fill in gaps. But when it comes to starting something, I would love to be a part of something from the ground up.
Is that why you're doing Mercy's Revenge? You want to try to build something from the ground up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, now, and things got mixed up. When I, again, last year I was starting with one female singer and I was trying to work with that. And then it swapped and all of a sudden someone else just kind of popped up.
Okay.
And when that happened, it was kind of like, wow, this is really interesting. Because, talking about me being a snob here a little bit, there's a lot of controversy with phones and stuff. I'm really big on like the, no phone thing. So
really?
Yeah, I'm one of those guys. Yep. But so I found someone that's like really, out of nowhere, and it's like, boom, it's like, oh, well, where have you been? No, you've been there the whole time.
So let's go back to kind of the beginning. Where did it all start for you? How did your musical journey start?
Oh, well, my father played, and he was like 16 when I was born. My mom was 15.
Okay.
And I just stuck with my dad. Was giving up on my mom, and in the 80s, born in 81, Pac-Man and Space Invaders and all the great music, and that the rules were more relaxed. Social programs were really actually designed to help like people. And
yeah, sure.
So when I say submerged into real rock and roll as a baby infant with teenagers,
right,
and seeing it all, dysfunction from it didn't matter what day it is, today people are like, oh, let's wait for the weekend. For me, it's like, what the heck is a weekend? It doesn't matter. Why do we have to wait?
Yeah, right.
As far as I'm concerned, it could be Tuesday afternoon and we get the cops here. One way or the other. I've seen it happen anyway. So.
Sure. So your dad played. Was he in any kind of bands or anything?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Who was he part of?
So I think the name back then was like Natural Disaster.
Okay.
He's done stuff like Zoso, which is a Zeppelin tribute.
Oh, okay. I think I've heard of them.
Also, Santana and the Santana tribute band called Santana Los Amigos.
Okay. Is he out there still doing it, or is he kind of done?
He still plays. You can never. I think something about music just keeps us younger, and healthier. Sure. Quite frankly, he wants to get out there more. Okay. And but he's not rusted at all. Oh, okay. Not only is he not rusted, he kind of looks goofy, and then he just blows your face off.
Bring him out to the open mic. We'll see.
Oh, you do.
That'll be awesome. Man.
What? That's a good idea. I'll try to get him out there.
Bring him out one day. That'll be awesome. Does your mom play? Is your mom a musician at all?
No, she's a corporate. She's a corporate power lady. She's a woman of power. 4'11" too. All 4'11" too. Nice. Italian woman.
So you grew up in that environment. When did you just always kind of had a guitar in hand then?
Oh no. You definitely couldn't do it like that, because if you didn't do it the way my dad did it, or between us, we're it's weird. I got a weird relationship, but like it just, when you're looking at yourself, it's hard to teach yourself. But what I can say about this, and this is one of the things I'm really lucky about, is some things are better. Some things you can't really teach. Some things can only be learned or watched or observed.
Okay.
And when it comes to music, there's the technicality parts of things, which is I don't know anything about that stuff. Well, I reverse learned it, but the how to, the physical part. And I grew up around a lot of this real musicians every day.
Right.
Like I'm talking, people brought, coming through the door, bringing cases of beer on a Tuesday because of practice. But the point is, these guys are sweating and just getting like every night.
Yeah.
And I watched it every night.
That's awesome.
Like, so just, and all kinds of musicians of all walks everywhere on a weekly basis. I'm talking crazy parties in Philly where, just kids aren't supposed to come, but he's a kid's, he's the guitar player's kid. And,
right.
All right, well, just make sure he doesn't do anything stupid. I'm telling you. So that those type of exposures and experiences, intensity. I think a buddy of mine, David St. James, says, I think he calls it my attack. Okay. And it's something that's really, it's more of an animalistic thing. It's more, you can observe it.
Okay.
And it's hard to teach.
Sure.
You can observe it and, you beat, you hit someone, you hit back, you can learn how to hit.
Yeah.
But it's like, so it's one of those things I'm really lucky to have that exposure, but I have no training at all.
Okay. All right. So you've never really taken lessons?
No.
Okay. No. All right. So at what age did you finally decide that you wanted to learn how to play guitar?
When I finally moved away from my father, moved in with my mom, that's when I first picked up guitar around 16.
16. Okay.
Yeah. It's interesting. Cool. It's interesting, but it's weird. I had, it's just weird, interesting how I had to move away before I could actually pick it up. And it wasn't, it was unspoken. It just natural. He didn't push it on me either.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like and he didn't tell me no either. I was really into sports back then. So.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're more of a sports guy, but then like there was part of you that was just kind of saying like, well, I'm not going to play guitar because my dad plays guitar, right? It was kind of like, that's his thing. I'll do the sports thing and that'll be my thing. And then you move in with your mom and now you're like, I think I want to play guitar.
Well, actually, here's the way I really look at it. And this is the behind the scenes, is one of the really lucky things. To me, when I say rock and roll is not just a genre of music, I literally lived it. So for me, it was a lifestyle. And what I mean by, we lived at different people's houses and we really were passed around kind of like gypsies. Yep. The point that I make with that is that there's so much dysfunction around rock and roll, like real rock and roll. Yeah, and what I mean is that like...
Well, yeah, I mean, Guns N' Roses back in the day, Axl lived in his car, like all that stuff. Yeah.
And because of that exposure that I had, I could always party. I was there at every party. I just didn't have to party. So what I think the best benefit that I had was I was exposed to, I was like on the front of a roller coaster to this adult show. And I got exposed to it. Now, most people that would have been exposed to it would have ended up doing and diving right in. Right. I got the front row without having to indulge myself.
Okay.
So I think that protected me a little bit, and that's why I kind of went to sports, where it's like I could still hang, I could still beat a part. Like no one, looked at me the same way.
Right.
But for some, I was actually like their baby or something. It's weird. It really took care of me. Rock and roll, as disgusting and from the extremes it can be, it really did take care of me.
That's cool.
In a way, like we'd crash for people for 6 to 9 months at a time before you're on someone else's couch.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that's the way it was.
Yeah. That's crazy.
It is, but yeah.
So, and you don't have to answer if it's too personal a question. So back in the day when you were with your dad, were your parents separated or were they together?
They were never together. And
right.
well, I'll get there. It's okay. I mean, it's something I've had to come with, and I've figured it out before the answer was told. But the reality of the situation is I'm a half breed, and my mother's 100% Italian. And back then, that kind of was like a little bit frowned upon.
Okay.
But the funny story is that both my parents knew, and they were like, well, they didn't let their parents know until she was already 6 months. So they could, but technically I was supposed to be put up. I was supposed to be put up for adoption. And then my crazy grandmother on my father's side came in and started talking some Bible stuff, and everyone spooked out, and it was just me and my pops, which everything works out great. I mean, I can't, like I said, the exposure that I had, I should be a serial killer. Really, the things that I've seen, but it's not. It worked in a different way. It's for whatever reason, I kind of learned what not to do.
Okay.
While I'm still trying to do that.
Right.
Which is almost impossible. Because rock and roll's a killer.
It's a weird mix when you think about it, right? Like, and any brothers and sisters, or is it just you?
I have 2 half brothers.
Okay.
So my mother eventually had two more.
Okay.
Siblings. mine.
Right. But when you were in the lifestyle with your dad, it was basically just you and your dad?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow. And then he just he was more or less like a rock and roll gypsy, right? Like he's just bouncing around from couch to couch and you're along for the ride.
Yep.
Man, dude, that's insane.
and it's, I mean, again, everyone was there. Like like really, to me, it really was a lifestyle. And part of it is the dysfunction. Like I'm telling you.
Yeah, sure.
And you hang out with the same people and, once a month you get the cops come because of the noise ordinance.
Okay,
or maybe once every other month because someone's fighting and, but like that was like regular.
Sure. Man, I'm sure you saw a lot. That's for sure.
Yeah. And it was like, again, for whatever reason, it was like allowed to see it without it. Like no one, I didn't get beat up by it. No one let me gobbled up by it and affected
that's
by
great.
it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, you said earlier that it protected you, right? That lifestyle in a weird way protected you. I would assume it's because like the musicians are all a pretty tight knit bunch, you know? And I mean, if you're the son of a guy that's in the band, I would imagine the other band members are probably kind of like, well, yeah, we got to protect this boy because he's one of ours. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's pretty. So you almost had like an extended family with all those musicians.
So to me, when I say it's a lifestyle to me, it really is, because there's people like us, and even not us. I mean, but there's even if it's not me, it's also the consumption of music too. Okay. And that's what I mean. Like you don't necessarily have to be playing the guitar, but everyone has a guitar. There's always guitars. But what I'm seeing, but like the people that consume the music is our mechanics, our roofers, everyone that makes the economy run, the normal people on the ground, the boots. We're the ones consuming it. It's why we're going through our daily grind. It's part of rock and roll is a distraction for helping us move through the days when we're at that certain, if we're in that level of the game.
Sure.
That's actually, I don't know if you know this, but I think, and I don't know this for a fact, but I'm pretty sure the reason why musicians in England are knighted, I don't know if you know this or not.
No.
Well, it's because, like guys like McCartney and your
Elton John,
all those guys. That's because music distracts in times of chaos.
Okay.
That's what I think.
That's what I
think. I think that's, that's really what it is. So, and that's to me why, and being grown up in the ground level of it, I really feel like, to me, I saw it in a different way. So to me, rock and roll is not just music. It's a lifestyle. Right. I've seen it consume, like as consumers as we are. There's a lot of consumerism. You can build it, you could buy it, you could sell it. Right. It's a lifestyle, and we all feed off of it.
That's great. No, I dig it. I agree 100%. And as you're telling your story, I'm like, oh, that kind of explains why, like, Jimmy shows up at the open mic at like 11 o'clock at night, on a Sunday, and then he'll be like, oh yeah, I just got done like rehearsal or something. You've always got something going on, and it kind of makes sense now. Like, cause like you said earlier, it doesn't matter if it's a Sunday or a Friday or a Tuesday. You're just like, whatever, let's do it.
And there's a lot of us out there that are like that don't have this, that have, we follow the rules.
Yeah, sure. You're an abiding citizen.
Yes. Yeah, there you go. That's it. That's right. Yeah. We observe the rules. I knew there was a rule, or whatever. Right.
Like you said, you're not a serial killer. So, you're doing it right. That's great. Okay. So now you're 16, you decide you want to play guitar. Where does your first guitar come from?
Oh, well, at that point I was living with my mom, and they laughed at me.
Oh, really? Really?
No, they were like, oh, don't quit your day job.
Were they now, was your mom like that because she didn't want you to turn into your dad, or
maybe, but I tell you, I respect her in a way. And when I talk about like the balance of me being, the derivative of a corporate person and a derivative of an artist.
Well, they're exact opposites for sure.
And I am an anomaly in that case, in that I did have, with her voice of reason, there's like certain things and there were little bits, it was never nagging, but what she said firmly, I kind of, registered, and he's like, listen, you cross this line, you can't come back.
Oh, wow.
And talking about, so when I grew up around all this stuff, and she's like, as you're coming of age, if you want to, and that goes back to that lifestyle and things like that. I always knew I wanted to, a nicer lifestyle. I know I wanted to have a family, and things like that. And it's like, well, how do I do rock and roll and have a family?
Yeah, sure. Yep. And you've got a full-time gig, right? Like full-time day job, right?
I did till I told the cop to go fuck himself, and then you get a felony for some guy claiming he bit you and this stupid bullshit, and you get caught up in the lawnmower with the legal justice system.
Well, there's a story I want to hear.
Well, I'm a big believer in all as well that ends well.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I thought at Little E's, at the open mic at Little E's, not too long ago, maybe a couple months ago, I thought you said you had like a full-time
I did.
job.
So
this is a relatively new development then.
Yeah. So
Okay.
for 15 years, corporate and, did all the financial things, rose up.
So you kind of followed your mom's, wishes or guidance, whatever you want to call it.
It's instinctually, it was, I knew, I worked backwards. I knew that the lifestyle I wanted, and I knew based on the lifestyle I wanted, that's the track that I wanted.
Okay.
So it just happened to be, well, what are my options to make this kind of money, working these kind of hours, to have these type of things. And so I ended up being there naturally without her telling me to do it.
Okay.
And I've never gotten any, she's never signed any, she's never referred me to get there.
I got you.
Working in the corporate world, and then I finally went independent, I guess. So I spent about 22 years in there, 15 years, I guess, in the corporate world, 7 years building my own business.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I got an issue with the cops.
So what was this? What was the business that you were building?
So at the apex of my career that I built after 15 years, I got my CFP license, which is my Certified Financial Planner's license, the highest designation in the financial industry. Allows me to go into business for myself.
Yeah,
and I
you
did.
passed the Series 7 and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, the CFP is bigger than a 7.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, it is. It
all
trumps
right.
the 7. Actually,
Okay.
I actually never took the 7, but I could do anything the 7 could because the CFP dwarfs that.
Oh, okay. All right. That's amazing.
Only 20% of all financial advisors in the States have qualified for the certification,
CFP.
and I failed it twice.
Okay.
So I had to get it my third. I mean, it was one of my challenging.
Yeah, I mean, I heard the Series 7 is tough, and if you're saying this is even bigger and badder than the Series 7, that's got to be a monster.
Yeah,
That's
so
crazy.
get in trouble with the cops. But the good thing is because I was, built my own business for 7 years, that I had some equity, so I was forced to sell out, and so I kind of got a couple installments.
Was it like a not? And we don't have to go into the details. I can edit out whatever you don't want to put on. Was it like an employee? Did you have an issue with an employee?
No, cop. I got pulled over, some traffic cop.
Yeah, but how does a traffic stop translate to you having to sell your business?
I told the cop to go fuck him. No, I told him I was like, you're a douchebag. I knew he was going to do it. I knew I was in trouble. Here, let's just throw it out there. I knew I was in trouble, right? So I wanted to create a spark, and I was like, I could see how the low character of the officer, and I knew that all I had to do was say some words for him. Okay. And I knew that he would abuse his power, like
it would
trigger
him.
And he did.
Yep.
So it did. He chased me around. He says I bit him.
Oh, geez.
My wife was there. All kinds of stuff. So at the end of the day, I was convicted of assault on an officer. And it's interesting how they trick you too, right? I said, well, I pulled my arm away. I said, okay, okay. Did you say that? I said, okay. I said that. Then court, right? You say, okay, I did. I pulled my arm away. Well, and then they said, well, with intent. And then after I say that, then they said with intent to harm. And then they said, and I said, wait, I didn't say it. And then they say, shut up. Well, I didn't say anything about intent to harm, but I did agree that I pulled my arm away. Right. Doesn't make it any intent. It certainly doesn't make it assault on an officer. Right. But when you have a felony, you have to report it to the license committee. So this board that the same thing as a lawyer, the lawyers or even an officer, I know why they would wanted to protect him because he would have to lose his license.
Sure.
If one of us is going to lose our license.
Right. I got you.
That's it. It's one of us is going to lose our license because I whispered in his ear and then he took action. Anyway,
that's crazy. So,
but music makes it better.
Right. Well,
music and beer.
So,
but I got coffee right now.
So, all right. So this all goes down. You get your license revoked because of the felony conviction.
Well, that's my ego. Actually, I'm going to jump in there.
Go ahead.
The board asked for the documents from the court. And here's where my ego steps in because I kind of knew, all this was going to happen. And I know I'm going to get run over by this machine. Okay. But I refuse to disseminate false information.
Okay. The certification board.
Yeah. So
asked you for the documents.
Yeah. I said, listen, I'm not going to give them to you because they have false information. And I'm not going to, listen, I get it. I get the world, sometimes that's what the judge said. I'm going to do my job. Right, I'm going to do what I was told to do, whether it's right or wrong. Well, guess what? I know that that's the way it is around here, but I haven't broken that knee yet. So I guess I'm just going to have to take it on the chin, and I guess that means I got my final revocation. I guess my disbarred. Or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you were a lawyer, it would be disbarred. Who knows what it is?
Lack of response. World, you can't fire me because I quit.
All right, so you refused to give the papers, and they were like, all right, well then we terminate your license or revoke your license, and then so what's your plan now? Are you head on full into music then?
Yes.
All right, let's do it then.
Yes, I am.
No, that's great. I mean, might as well seize the opportunity, right? So you're doing the sound thing. You're performing in as many bands as possible. You've got all this stuff going on. That's great. You might as well take advantage of the time that you have by not working a 40-hour work week, if not longer, owning your own business, and dive right in and see what happens. So good for you, brother. Yeah, good for you, and good luck with everything.
Yeah, listen, as I said before, I'm a big believer in all is well that ends well, and I think that's a lot of times. It gets really nasty before that ending. Sure. And if you really want to fight for it, and trying to fight for it, and that's an old saying, but I really believe in it's like you got to fight for it though. Yeah, so that's where I'm at, and I'm telling you, it's crazy. And I was kind of mentioning it a couple times in a year. I was like, I'm kind of like in free fall. I'm like saying it to people like, oh yeah, sure. No, I'm in free fall. Like, so it's all new, which is exciting.
Yeah.
But I think that helps though too, because rock and roll, you can't be walking in with flush pockets, man.
Sure.
I gotta be borrowing someone's guitar, man, asking someone for a pick or something, Dude, you got some money for food or something? I'll pay you back at another time.
All right, so we kind of know, we covered your family. You have a family of your own now, right?
I do.
You mentioned a wife. Any kids?
Yeah, I got 4 kids.
Okay, wow.
Yeah,
wow.
I got let's see, 9, 10, 11. My oldest is a daughter. Mm-hmm. And they're consecutive. I think it's a 9, 10, 11, 10, 11, 12. Next year it'll be. And then I got a baby who just turned 1.
Oh, that's right. I remember you had a baby last year. That's right. Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Crazy, yeah.
How are you loving fatherhood?
It's such a blessing, especially with like everything that was going on. You're talking about losing the job and stuff. And my career, not even a job, it was a career. I've been thinking about that. It's like, I had 15 years to get on top so that I'm not, either being fucked or fucking someone or taking advantage or being taken advantage of. It's anyway, so
you can curse as much as you want. It's okay.
Cool. All right. I wasn't sure about that. Sometimes people like,
no, you're fine.
But the blessing of having the child there and the children while I'm going through this tough time, and it was, you can't spend too much time, down on yourself and poo-poo and being a pout fish. Right. Because you got to set that example. So I learned so much about myself by looking at them. Yeah. I get that. Okay. So, where are we at now? So your family laughed at you when you wanted to play guitar. Yep. So I'm still trying to find out how and when you first got your first guitar. Yeah, it was 16. I still got it. They made fun of me and all. Right. And it was a Squier. It was a Fender Squier.
Okay. So electric. Your first guitar was electric.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice.
Yeah, so that's really it. And go to college, just go off to college, and I learned my first 3 songs were first 3 songs I learned this when I learned how to read tabs was "Stairway to Heaven," "Under the Bridge," and "Wish You Were Here."
Oh, nice.
And that's like the foundation of like. So it's funny because now I guess I would say that like when I was with my mom, I guess I didn't read tabs back then, and she just told me to turn it off. I guess I didn't. But as soon as I got in the dorm room, that's when I really kind of started getting into it and getting it done.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I remember. I know nowadays, and maybe I'm wrong in saying this, but nowadays I feel like tablature gets a bad rap. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people, oh, you're not a real musician if you read tabs, blah, 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 which is totally not true. But like, I'm old enough to remember when tabs were kind of invented, you know, because when I was a kid, there was no tablature, there was no ultimateguitar.com, so I'm trying to learn everything by ear or from guitar teachers and stuff. And then my cousin at one time was like, well, just look up the tab, or here, check out this Guitar for the Practicing Musician magazine or Guitar World. They have tabs in it. And I'm like, what's tabs? And it changed my friggin' life. Like I started learning songs every week, instead of every year. It was crazy.
Yeah, you're teaching yourself how to fish,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Hunt yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, it was amazing. When did you start writing your own music?
About college. College. Yeah, one of the songs I'll do tonight was written in college.
Okay.
About college when I started writing some of the stuff. I would say my journey though, I didn't start singing though for a while.
Okay.
So writing music was one thing. Writing a couple riffs was easy. I didn't actually start singing until COVID.
Okay.
And then so I guess we're now I guess 5 years into
5
that.
years now, yeah.
So I'm about 5 years into, big full circle, now finally, working on my voice and things like that.
And why did you start singing? I mean, if you were always a guitar player, why did you start singing?
Finding a singer. It was tough. I mean, I had once a guy, a buddy of mine, it's funny, Comfort will know this guy, PJ, I wrestled with, and was another guy that we wrestled with. And me and him were tight. We were best friends in college. And me and PJ, we had it was like the first time I was in an original band. We had it was amazing chemistry. And that was like what when you really have chemistry, it just, you feed off of each other, and it's very natural. And to the point where even like I got into other bands, and then he would get jealous and be like, yo, let's start up a band. And you're like, break up my band. And then he'd be like, oh, all right, see you later. And like, cause it was like, we would get together, we'd crack a bottle and we'd roll whatever. And we'd write music just like that. I'd come up with a riff and he'd write, and and then we'd have like, we would do 3/4 songs we do in 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Like
awesome.
Without finalizing, you know what I mean? But like we get a lot of
ideas out.
So I do know how to, when I do work with other musicians, for people that are singer-songwriters that might not be the best musicians, I really feel that I hear what they're trying to do. Okay. And I really want to help bring that out.
So when you're writing, what kind of comes out first? Is it lyrics or is it a guitar riff? Like, how does a song come about?
Originally it was guitar. I come up with the riffs, and now it's kind of, this is the wrong word. Vomit's not the right, convulsions. It comes out now. I have an experience, like a really cool, and this is what rock and roll is about. And I think it's where the music comes in. I'm going to cut the people across the country that have their groups where, people write the music and have other people come in. Yeah. Like for me, the art and it comes from a situation, so maybe I'm hungover from the night before, and all of a sudden it comes out and it's there. Okay. Yeah. And even with my buddy, like when the things come, 70% of it's like, it's real quick. Right. It's not even, I can't sit down and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to write a song today. Yeah. It doesn't happen like that. It's like,
you're all about following the inspiration whenever it happens. Yeah, right. Yeah. No, that's cool. I've talked to a lot of guys like that. Who are some of your biggest influences then?
I was named after Hendrix, so I kind of that always kind of grated on me in a weird way, which I never, I think that I shied away from it because of that. Yeah. But I'd say my favorite 3 artists are Hendrix, Prince, and Kurt of Nirvana. Okay. But I would say my favorite band is The Who.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm a big Who fan. Yeah,
that's awesome.
I love the way they write their musics. Their songs or ballads. There's such a variety.
Well, Behind Blue Eyes is such an amazing song. It really is.
They're emotionally. I love everything that they sing about. They sing about all the ups. I don't know. It's just they're really good at capturing. And it's timeless.
Where can people find you? I assume, obviously I know you have social media, but let the listeners know where they can find you.
Yeah, so it's easy to find me on Facebook right now. It's going to be Jimi Jimi, short and sweet, and then just capital U, capital O. I got some things coming up shortly with the original stuff. It's going to come out with a couple songs here. And like I said, I got a couple duos that I'm working with.
All right, what songs are you going to do for us today?
I'm going to do the old ones. I'm going to start some old stuff. Lies in Your Head, and maybe I'll go for some Fleshed Out. We'll give it a shot.
Okay,
we'll give it a shot.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much for doing the podcast. It was great having you. Great talk.
Cool, man. Thank you very much for having me.
Good seeing you.
Yeah, good to be seen by you. All right, this is one of the first songs I wrote called Lies in Your Head. Fornications that are here and screaming at me. So rise above, then you fall below. We try again. Can you really let go? Help me pretend where this all started. is in my head.
All right.
Thank you.
That was great, brother.
This one's called Just a Ride. Just a Ride. So this is one of the first ones I wrote after COVID. Okay. Just a ride. Now hellions, they make friends, practicing original singing. I wanna dream of you tonight. It's just a ride. Hold all your dreams and all your faith in disbelief as I wash them all away. I want you to dream of me tomorrow, and I want you to know me tonight. Now I want you to see all that follows, and it's only just for tonight.